Who told you you needed someone to feel whole, to feel loved, to feel important? Babe, you were never missing a piece. You were just too busy searching for it in someone else's pocket. But after this, oh no, you won't need anyone. Not their attention, their approval, their love, or their presence. Because you are about to remember who the hell you are. You are the one you've been waiting for. You always thought it was going to be someone else, didn't you? Someone to walk in, take your hand and say, I see you, I choose you. Let me save you. You spent nights praying for the one, scrolling through fairy tales, hoping to be seen, understood, and completed. But what if I told you no one is coming? Not because you're not worth it, but because you were always the hero of your own story. You just forgot. Think about it. How many times have you given your power away, waiting for a text, a call, an apology, a sign? That delay, that desperation. It's not love. It's amnesia. You've forgotten who you are. You've forgotten that the version of you that can hold herself through the storm, dry her own tears, smile through her scars. She's not weak. She's the one who was meant to rise. Look at your daily life. When your car breaks down, you don't sit there waiting for someone to magically appear. You call for help. You figure it out. You step up. But emotionally, spiritually, you've been sitting by a broken heart, waiting for someone else to fix it. Why? You've always had the tools. You've just been conditioned to forget your strength. You've waited for someone to say you're beautiful before you believed it. Waited for someone to appreciate your worth before you owned it. You've waited to be loved so you could finally love yourself. But darling, no mirror reflects more than the way you look at yourself. People can compliment you every day, but if you don't believe it, it won't stick. Self-worth doesn't come from their voice. It comes from your inner voice, finally getting louder than their noise. There's a woman who wakes up every morning, looks at her empty kitchen and says, I'll make breakfast for one and I'll enjoy every bite. There's a girl who goes to the movie alone and laughs louder than anyone else in that theater. There's a mother raising kids without a partner, figuring it out without complaint, because she became the protector and the provider. And there's you, sitting there underestimating the fire inside you while the world is watching and wondering, when is she going to realize what we already see? The truth is, we waste years looking for someone to hold our hand through the dark, not realizing we were born with our own light. It's dimmed by heartbreak, by rejection, by the lies we were told. You're too much. You're too independent. You'll end up alone. No, you're not too much. You were just never meant to be less. You've been breaking cycles, healing patterns, learning boundaries. That's not weakness. That's divine evolution. You've cried yourself to sleep and still woke up and made your bed. That's strength. You've been rejected but still chose to love again. That's bravery. You felt lonely but never lost your softness. That's queen energy. So stop waiting for a better day, a better person, a better love. Become the better version of you. Take yourself on dates. Speak kindly to the mirror. Get dressed like someone important is watching, because someone is you. The inner you that's been craving to be chosen first. You're not missing your other half. You're missing your own loyalty to yourself. You're not looking for someone to complete you. You're waking up to the truth that you were never broken. You are the one. The one who stays when everyone leaves. The one who dreams when everyone doubts. The one who rebuilds even when she's still bleeding. You don't need someone to come rescue you anymore. You just need to remember you are the rescue. Let that sink in. Because most of us walk through life believing that if we give love, we're entitled to receive it back. That if we're kind, loyal, giving, soft and forgiving, someone will do the same for us. And when they don't, we feel betrayed. But here's the truth that sets you free. Love is not a transaction, it's an expression. You love because it's who you are, not because someone owes you something in return. You've probably been in a situation where you poured your heart out, texted first, showed up, stayed late, forgave too soon, because you believed they'd eventually see your worth. But let's be honest. What hurts more than heartbreak is realizing they never saw it the way you hoped they would. And that's where it hits you. No one is obligated to love you the way you imagined, but you are responsible for loving yourself in the way you've always deserved. Look around you. How many women do you know waiting for someone to show them love before they give it to themselves? Waiting for a man to take them on a date before they dress up. Waiting for a friend to compliment them before they feel pretty. Waiting for someone to say you matter before they believe they do. But why? Why give that much power to someone else's ability to see you? A flower doesn't bloom because someone stops to admire it. It blooms because that's what it was designed to do. You don't need permission to be radiant. You just need the courage to stop waiting. There's a girl right now walking through a store holding her head high, even though no one has told her I love you in years. There's a woman paying her own bills, buying her own flowers, and going to sleep in an empty bed without feeling empty inside. That's not loneliness. That's power. Because she's learned something many people never do. Your first responsibility is not to be loved by others. It's to be loved by yourself. Radically, deeply, and without hesitation. Have you ever noticed how freely we love others? How quickly we forgive their mistakes? How gently we handle their insecurities? But when it comes to ourselves, we criticize, we doubt, we shrink. If you gave your best friend the same treatment you give to yourself, would they feel safe? No. So why are you making yourself feel like you need to earn your own affection? Here's the hard pill. You don't need someone to treat you right to start treating yourself right. If you feel like you're always at the mercy of someone else's love, you've already betrayed yourself. Love isn't something you beg for, it's something you build inside. And when you build it from within, you stop seeking it like a hungry soul. You become it. You radiate it. You attract it. Think about the last time someone disappointed you. You probably said, how could they do this to me after all I've done for them? But sweetheart, they didn't betray your love. They simply didn't know how to hold it. That doesn't mean you stop giving. It means you start giving to yourself first. Make yourself a priority even when no one else does. Buy the dress, light the candles, book the trip, speak kindly to yourself in the mirror. Stop waiting to be invited into love. Create your own sanctuary of it. Every morning, remind yourself, even if the world forgets me today, I will not forget me. When you finally love yourself, on the days you feel ugly, unwanted, forgotten, or misunderstood, that's real love. That's unshakable. That's yours. And nobody can take that away from you because it wasn't borrowed. It was born inside you, nurtured by you, protected by you. And that's the kind of love no one else can ever owe you because it's already been paid in full. It starts small. A like on your photo. A compliment from a stranger. A you did great from someone you admire. And it feels good. Almost too good. It's a high. A rush of dopamine. Your heart races a little. Your confidence spikes. You start to believe, I'm seen. I'm enough. I matter. But here's where the trap lies. You start depending on it. You start needing it. And soon, without realizing, you're chasing approval like an addict chasing their next hit. Think about it. How many times have you posted something and then waited for the likes? How many times have you looked at someone before making a decision and asked yourself, what will they think of me? How many outfits have you not worn because you were scared it was too much? How many dreams have you buried alive because someone raised an eyebrow? That's what validation does. It hijacks your authenticity and sells it back to you in exchange for approval. There's a girl who stood in front of the mirror today and changed her outfit 5 times. Not because she didn't love what she was wearing, but because she was afraid they wouldn't. There's a woman sitting in a job she hates, showing up every day because her family thinks it's respectable. There's a teenager deleting her artwork because her friends didn't hype her up enough. All of them addicted to validation, craving permission to be who they already are. But what if I told you this? The day you stop needing validation is the day you become truly dangerous. Because when you no longer ask for permission to live, to speak, to shine, you become unstoppable. When you don't care whether they clap or criticize, you move from the core of your soul, not from the shadow of their opinions. Validation is tricky. It disguises itself as encouragement. But if you rely on it too much, you start performing instead of living. You become a puppet to applause, not a force of presence. And what's worse, the more you chase it, the more you lose yourself. You stop asking, does this feel right to me? And start asking, will they like this? Here's a reality check. No matter how perfectly you perform, someone will still find fault. No matter how beautifully you shine, someone will say it's too bright. You can shrink to fit into their comfort, and they'll still complain you take up space. So why not take up all the space you were meant to? Have you ever noticed how kids dance? Wild, free, offbeat. They don't care who's watching. They dance because they feel the music. That's purity. That's power. And somewhere along the way, we stopped dancing. We got too self-aware, too scared to look silly, too trained to seek approval. But your life is not a stage for public judgment. It's a battlefield of soul expression. And you owe it to yourself to live unfiltered. Every time you hesitate to speak your truth because someone might not agree, you silence your own power. Every time you change who you are to please a crowd, you cheat yourself out of your magic. You don't need a round of applause to know you're worthy. You don't need compliments to know you're radiant. You don't need validation to prove you belong. You are not a product for people to rate. You are a masterpiece in motion. Growing, shift, evolving. And the people who truly matter will never need you to shrink for their comfort. So stop adjusting the volume of your spirit to match someone else's preferences. Not everything deserves your reaction. Not every insult deserves your energy. Not every betrayal deserves your explanation. Sometimes the most powerful move you can make is to say absolutely nothing. Because silence, when used with intention, is louder than any scream. It doesn't beg, it doesn't chase, it simply is. And in a world addicted to noise, your silence becomes a mystery, a message, a mirror. There's a woman right now who stopped replying to the man who kept stringing her along with half-effort love and sweet nothings. Not because she didn't have something to say, but because she realized her silence would echo louder in his ears than 1,000 angry texts ever could. Silence says, you don't deserve the version of me that speaks just to be heard. It's not weakness, it's dominance, it's strategy. It's knowing when the battlefield isn't worth stepping on because you've already won by walking away. We are conditioned to explain ourselves, to defend our worth, to prove we're not the villain in someone else's story. But hear this. When you know your truth, you don't need to convince anyone of it. Silence becomes your boundary, your shield, your crown. And those who can't handle it, they were never meant to sit at your table anyway. There's a girl at work being misunderstood, maybe even hated for being different, for shining too bright. The gossip circles around her, but she doesn't flinch. She doesn't respond. And people start wondering why. Why won't she defend herself? Why won't she retaliate? Because she knows the more you speak, the more you give them to twist. But when you stay silent, they choke on their assumptions. That's power. That's elegance. Silence is not avoidance, it's precision. It's saying, I could destroy you with the truth, but I choose peace instead. Because some battles aren't worth fighting. Not because you're scared, but because you're above them. When someone disrespects you, let your silence be the weight of your dignity. When someone tries to manipulate you, let your silence show them that they no longer have access to your mind. Think of every queen in history. Did she shout to prove her strength? No. Her silence commanded attention. Her pause created tension. Her grace broke walls. Because when you stop feeding chaos with reactions, you starve it. You let the noise eat itself. And in that stillness, you rise untouched. There's a moment in every woman's life where she wants to explode, scream at the world, shake people for not seeing her, cry for being unseen. But the moment she chooses silence over breakdown, composure over chaos. That's her turning point. That's when she realizes her energy is too sacred for pettiness. She doesn't need to react. She just needs to refocus. Imagine someone trying to push your buttons and finding none. Imagine someone trying to test your peace and all they get is your absence. That's not coldness. That's evolution. Because silence doesn't mean you didn't notice. It means you noticed everything and decided it wasn't worthy of your voice. Silence is not emptiness. It's fullness held back. It's saying, I know what I bring and I won't waste it on those who don't. Let them wonder, let them replay their words, searching for a reaction that will never come. Let them sit in the discomfort of their own echo, because your silence just exposed them more than your words ever could. Use silence like a sword, not to harm, but to protect, not to escape, but to elevate. Because a woman who can stay silent in a storm doesn't lack the fire, she simply mastered the art of controlling it. The right people don't come when you beg, they come when you bloom. You can cry, you can plead, you can shrink yourself into silence or stretch yourself into desperation. But no matter how much you chase, force or explain, the people who are meant to stay will never need to be begged to understand your value. And the people who walk away, let them walk. Because real ones don't come when you collapse, they come when you rise. There's a woman somewhere right now, sitting on the edge of her bed, staring at her phone, waiting for a reply that may never come. She's replaying every conversation in her head, wondering what she said wrong, if she was too much or not enough. She's ready to apologize for things she didn't even do, all because she's afraid of losing someone who already left in silence. But what she hasn't realized is this: you don't have to bleed to make someone stay. Begging is born from the illusion that you're not whole on your own. But blooming is power. It's saying, I will grow with or without applause. I will rise whether or not you see me. I will blossom not because you came back, but because I never gave up on myself. Think of a flower. It doesn't chase the bees. It doesn't scream for the sun to shine. It simply blooms. And when it does, the right energy comes to it. Butterflies, sunlight, rain. That's nature. That's alignment. You never see a rose running after someone trying to prove its beauty. So why should you? We've been conditioned to believe love has to be fought for with suffering, that we need to lower our standards to keep people close, that if we don't text first, we'll be forgotten. But the truth is, love that needs to be begged for is not love. It's manipulation wearing affection as perfume. And darling, you were not born to grovel.